In 2016, the Indian gaming scene in general was still on the up and up.
Back then, esports essentially meant going to your local gaming cafe, winning 2,000 rupees, and that's your weekend done.
Historically, Indian teams have never done well in international tournaments. Most of them lost with embarrassing scorelines.
One of the reasons that the Indian scene has always been sort of self-contained, and then you couple that with purchasing power in a country like India, not having access to performance machines.
We really had to import expertise. Optic Gaming was essentially the embodiment of every bedroom gamer's dream.
They had a plan at the high level to have a global footprint, and India was one of their multiple projects.
It was very important to me to make sure that India was a focal point. I thought there was a huge potential there.
Counter-Strike's a first-person shooter.
One of the biggest esports on the planet with a legacy of over 20 years.
The best players in the world can earn anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000 a month.
In India specifically, Counter-Strike has been well received.
The goal of the Optic India project was firstly to become the best team in India as soon as possible, and then put India on the map.
This could be finally India's chance at actually having a shot at an international title.
It just gave a lot of hope.
Community was excited because we are Indians and we are passionate about everything we love.
We decided to do a tryout process. The idea was that we wanted to build a squad from the ground up.
You could see everybody else around, kind of the light bulb switching on, saying, "Holy shit! This is something special that's happening. How do I get involved with it?" We've never actually done a selection process like this. I don't think many teams have done this anywhere in the world, right? And the fact that you guys are here, we're making history, okay?
Thousands and thousands of people applied for it. It was an opportunity that nobody really wanted to miss out on.
I've never seen anything of that scale ever again or before in India.
The response was just mind-blowing. We saw people by the hundreds. "Oh, we're so excited that you guys are coming to help us create new opportunities for Indian gamers," right? That meant so much to me.
All these gamers who had been playing for years and years and years without any major achievements under their belt, all those underdogs had a chance.
You had players traveling from remote cities to the LAN venue in Bangalore, and then you had these players that we had never heard of.
I started gaming in 2011 in a small gaming cafe in Kolkata, and eventually I switched to Counter-Strike Global Offensive in 2015. One of my friends told me that, Optic is coming. They selected me, trying out for those 5 slots. I went there, I played only one game, but I was a beast on that game.
A lot of young talent that we found that would never have been found had it not been due to the tryout.
I got selected, and then finally we moved to the Bangalore boot camp. It was amazing.
These are 5 young men that had never really left home and lived on their own and had to fend for themselves.
Because I was an ex-professional player, and I've also been a coach. I've coached most of the top players in Counter-Strike in India. I knew that it's not enough just to get 5 talented players. You need the right mind as well. And that's when I went to Lucas, who I've known in Germany, and brought him into the fold as a player/coach.
So far, the Indian Counter-Strike scene was not as experienced. So that was the main reason why they decided to contact me and help them out.
We all stayed together because it's a team sport. You need to be together to improve. The mental pressure is immense. If you have to succeed in esports, you need to be tough.
Forsaken was one of those hidden gems. He was one of those players that came with unnatural amount of skill.
We picked him basically because he was really good at the technical aspects of the game. He was bought in for his brains more than his reflexes.
He was a quiet guy, but extremely skilled and extremely dedicated to the game itself. He did have a past that was a little shady as well, though. There were accusations that he was a cheater.
Some of the other players did have their suspicions about this particular player, Forsaken.
But although people were saying he was fishy, we didn't have any proof or any concrete evidence to, bench him or kick him out of the team.
One of our biggest events coming up was one tournament in Shanghai. We had to qualify in India first.
They went out there, they won the tournament quite convincingly, and all eyes were on Optic, like, hey, you know, these guys have some stardust that it's sprinkling on their players that's working.
Finally, you have qualified for the ESL Pro League Season 8, right?
And then we got the flight to Shanghai.
It was the first time the players were flying international. They were, going to this big tournament, and everything was on the table, right? We were representing India now.
The Zawi tournament is one of the best opportunities for Indian teams to compete against the best Asia has to offer. So the best teams from China, Korea, Southeast Asia, they compete in Zawi.
3, 2, 1, let's go!
It was really exciting because you could just see their eyes light up. They're like, oh my gosh. We're in a whole new place and we're about to just showcase what we're really made out of.
First match of the day we played against Malaysia. It was a pretty rough game for India. We lost pretty badly. There were nerves coming because that was my first international tournament. And there was so much pressure. The whole country is watching you.
I would definitely call Optic India heavy underdogs. They were going in there, any victory, any experience, to get better. That was kind of the mindset.
Okay, you stay there.
So the next day, we played Vietnam, must-win game for us.
Nice.
And I was having a very good game. I was, single-handedly destroying them.
Optic India were just one map away from winning. It was halfway through the map when we noticed that the admins had called a pause.
That usually happens when, say, the monitor goes off, or somebody's device is not working, or the internet is lagging. But it was lasting way longer than a normal technical pause.
We saw not just one admin, but slowly a second admin, and then probably 5 minutes later, a third admin.
There's like a little bit of a scuffle.
At that point in time, we kind of knew that this was not going to end well.
I was like, this is real. This guy, this kid, my player, has been caught cheating. And everything kind of just went black.
He cheated while representing one of the biggest orgs in the world, while competing in one of the largest tournaments in Asia. It is quite a 1 in a million kind of incident.
I never thought I would live to see a day like this. I never thought someone would be stupid enough, or brave enough rather, to pull it off in a tournament. China has some of the most strict rules out there for cheating in esports. People can get thrown into actual jail for cheating in a video game in that country.
He was just a dumb kid. He just felt scared he'd get kicked from the team because he wasn't a great aimer. I've been around the Indian esports scene for about 8, 9, 10 years now. I've been playing Counter-Strike for about 20 years. For me, it's very simple. If I love this game and I like playing and I like competing in it, why would I want to cheat? That undermines who I am and what I can do.
It's bloody ridiculous. There's no other way of putting it. Like, he wasn't a bad player. He did not need to hack to actually perform.
He was a master at all of it. All he needed was some crazy aim. This guy had a special button at the side, and if he presses that button, that's when the cheat gets activated and his aim automatically snaps to the nearest target.
There are a lot of cheats out there. There are free cheats, there are premium cheats, and this was definitely a premium cheat in the sense that he paid for it.
The cheating industry, it's massive. There is a lot of money involved.
If gaming itself is a multi-billion-dollar industry, then video game cheating is also a multi-million-dollar industry.
This guy had done an excellent job of hiding the truth. He not only hid it from his teammates, but everybody. He fooled everybody.
Forsaken is one of the biggest con artists that I've had the opportunity of meeting, or the ill opportunity of meeting.
Maybe he was suffering from imposter syndrome on that main stage, and Forsaken decided that, this is not me, I don't belong here. Let me put on my cheats so that I can pretend like I belong here.
Forsaken was intending to cheat from a pretty long time ago. He figured out how to hide it. He figured out how to make sure that he doesn't seem suspicious.
He would go out of his way to do perception management with the team. So even when the team wants to do bonding by going to the films or going and playing football, he'd be like, no, I'm going to stay at home and work on this or work on that, work on this tactic, work on this mechanic, etc. So that kind of kept even his teammates feeling that, oh, he's just improving so much because he's putting in the time.
That was really, a kick in the gut for all of us.
The entire team had to be disqualified and emotions are running really high. All the players, all his teammates felt extremely betrayed.
I've got 4 other players sitting here looking down at the ground, looking at each other like their life is completely over.
I was crying the whole time holding the Indian flag, and I don't know what to do, what to say. There were so many thoughts coming. What will happen to my career? Am I doomed?
I'm feared till this day this might happen again to me. Even today in the tournaments and the tactical timeouts, I feel a short shock. It's just for 1 second, but it's still there.
There was definitely a part of me that was like, yes, this is a big story. This is like my big break to reveal something that is a historical moment in the entire esports industry. And then a thought occurred to me and I said, well, there's definitely a clip of him because I remember quite vividly there were 2 cameras on the side of the stage and I realized that one of the cameras was facing him directly. Without any sort of permission, I barged into the production room and I just demanded, is there a clip of him when that moment happened? So they scanned the footage and I found that 10-second clip, so they sent it to me. You can see exactly on video that he's guilty. And then that's what we tweeted out.
This news spread like wildfire.
It was like the perfect storm.
Back at home, everyone was furious.
Indian audience is one that loves passionately and hates passionately. There were conversations of beating him up at the airport. There were conversations of how he had disappointed the nation.
There was also a lot of racism and hate thrown towards the Indian players.
At that point, they decided that we're pulling the plug on this operation. We cannot afford any more of this bad PR.
Him and his team were disbanded. It was a lot easier to just clean your hands and wash yourself of everything to do with that region and those players.
The biggest loss out of this whole experience for me at least was that I had seen all the other guys, who were not cheating, who had put in so much time for this tournament. After Optic India qualified, all their dreams went down the drain.
We were so close to greatness, and it all just came crashing down.
It wasn't fair to them that because of the actions of one individual, almost immediately everyone was allergic to that region and that scene.
All of a sudden, my achievements are gone. Like whatever I have earned as a player, whatever I have achieved as a player, everything is gone. Because all people were saying you guys won because of Forsaken.
Forsaken was branded as the poster child for everything bad in Indian esports.
It did send Indian esports and CSGO into a dark age. All you would hear is like, how do you know he's not cheating? How do you know he's not cheating? How do you know what's going on here?
Forsaken's wrongdoings kind of put us back about 5 years.
What happened to Forsaken after all of this? Where is he now?
Nobody knows. He went underground, he disappeared. Nobody's heard from him. He deactivated all his social media handles. He just stopped living a public life.
We clearly realized that we don't have enough checks and balances in place to identify and eliminate cheaters from the Indian esports ecosystem. If Forsaken could get away with it, couldn't there be more? But then you had tournament organizers using this as a wake-up call to say that, we cannot let another Forsaken incident happen ever again.
Without integrity of the game, we don't have a sport. Everything falls apart.
Today, the Indian gaming scene is thriving. India is one of the fastest growing gaming markets, and the gaming industry as a whole is booming.
Maybe the generation before us wanted to be actors and musicians. That's what the glamorous job was back in my parents' generation, but now gaming is the new glamorous job.
We are the first generation experiencing esports as a career in India.
If I were to look back 10 years, we would be extremely happy back then if someone paid for us to take a 24-hour train from Mumbai to Bangalore. Today, nothing short of $100,000 is incentive to compete in a tournament.